I talked to Sarah Palin before. I don't know Sarah Palin, but I feel as though I do. I've seen Sarah Palin in situations, in the media where she was fearless. She took on the big dogs in her own state. She took on the oil companies. She took on the political machinery, and she won. So where was that woman when she was in front of Katie Couric? Let me tell you something. I know, because I've played the game before. When you get on television and everybody is trying to play gotcha, at first, you really care, and you're so programmed up, okay, don't say this, don't say this, don't say this, and you can't be yourself. Well, that's what happened to Sarah Palin. She had 1 million people around her telling her exactly what she should and shouldn't say. And so she started to question absolutely everything that okay, wait a minute, I know that fact, but you hesitate. I know this because it's the way I am. You hesitate I bet you it's the way you are. I'll bet you if you've ever been at dinner with somebody who you think is really smart, you tend to be a little quieter, or you hesitate. Oh, gee, am I going to say this? Because you just don't want to look stupid. And if you sat at that meal and you knew that person was intentionally trying to make you look stupid, it would be even worse. And if you had a bunch of people saying, okay, we really want you to be yourself, but just listen. Whatever you do, don't do this, don't do this, don't say that, don't say that. Well, I know you agree with that, but this is what John believes in. You got to do this. You'd never be able to do it. That's what happened to Sarah Palin. She is not who she was presented as, and she was so encumbered by the machinery of the political process, which she doesn't like. She's against the machinery. That's the problem with Washington, is the machinery. Take the machinery away. Remove the machinery between me and the American people. That's what Sarah Palin believes. In my gut, I felt that. Dan's having a phone conversation with somebody. He looks down, he sees a phone number that he doesn't recognize. He lets it go to voicemail. It's Sarah Palin. We saved. Now, Sarah Palin called us a couple of times and, said, I just really want to. Sarah Palin called to arrange time on the radio show, and then the TV show, it was too late because of we were off the air at CNN.
Right, Glenn, and you got to remember too that never. I mean, usually when we arrange these guests, you never talk to the actual person until they call in to go on the show, and you talk to them for just a second.
And Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't even talk to those people. A handler calls those people. I'm the only one. A handler will call Dan. Dan, I've got John McCain on. Dan, I've got Mitt Romney on. Then they wait. When they hear me start to interview, then they hand the phone over to that person, and I'm the only one that talks to them.
So very, very, very rare that we actually, get that type of a call.
So here's the phone message that was left by Sarah Palin. Listen.
Hey, Dan, this is Sarah Palin. I wanted to give you a call and just try to hook up with you guys to hopefully get to share a few words with Glenn, and I'm going to give you my husband Todd's phone number. It's area code.
Okay.
And Dan, it's Sarah Palin, and calling from the campaign trail, getting on an airplane here shortly, but I'm just dying to talk to Glenn, and maybe the campaign's been too busy to hook up with you guys, so I'll do it myself, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
She picks up the phone and does it herself. Now, is this going rogue? Maybe, maybe not. The next morning, I spoke to her off the air. She was getting onto another airplane. Phone rings. Sarah Palin. I said, Sarah, you listen. Don't let that machinery trap you. You just keep going. She was in the position, and this is what happens with campaigns. They hire all these experts, and they say, do this, don't do this, talk to this person, don't talk to this person. That's what all of those machines do. This woman doesn't do it that way. You wouldn't do it that way. That's the difference. That's the kind of person we need, not the machines. This woman gets it. Instinctively, she gets it. I don't believe she was allowed to be anything more than just a stage puppet. I'm not convinced that John McCain actually, and I have no information on this, just by watching how she was used, her appearance on SNL, everything else, she was boxed. She was boxed in. You watch this woman when it's her campaign. You watch this woman when she's doing it. And you watch how the media has already destroyed her and will in the coming days and then all the way along continue to try to discredit and destroy her. They know she's a threat because she doesn't use the machinery. She doesn't like the machinery. She doesn't want to talk to the machinery. She wants to talk to you. And that's the kind of person we need. We need people like you. We need to change. This is the fundamental change that we need in America. On the global scale, America has become that religious person that maybe goes to church on Christmas or goes to synagogue on Yom Kippur, but that's it. And yet is the one in the office that you look at and they're yapping about religious stuff and they're trying to preach to everybody about, Jesus saves and everything else, or Jesus doesn't save or whatever it is, but they're the ones preaching to everybody and you're like, what a hypocrite. I mean, they're not even living it. But maybe they go to church every Sunday, but they're not living it. That's what America has become. And America started to become this in the 1930s. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me take it back. Around the turn of the century. We started to become this arrogant nation. This nation that wanted to tell everybody, starting with the League of Nations, exactly what they were going to do. America, in many ways, was responsible for World War II because we told the rest of the world how they were going to end World War I. We took charge. We jammed it down everybody's throat. Then we went in and we liberated Europe. And then we were arrogant enough to say, you're going to use our money and we'll stay on the gold standard. But then after that, we got off the gold standard, and we're still arrogant enough saying, no, but you don't worry about it. We'll never debase the money, and we'll be your buyers. Well, we have been a country that says we believe in freedom, and yet, for oil, we sleep with dictators all around the world. For oil, we've done everything. We say we don't believe in torture, but it was Bill Clinton that had rendition installed, where we'll have a CIA plane fly into the country, kidnap the person, deliver them to Egypt, so Egypt can torture them. We either believe in torture or we don't believe in torture. We believe it's worth doing or we don't. If it's worth doing, don't do rendition. You stand up and say, this is what we're doing. We, as a nation, are the churchgoer that defends their church but doesn't even know their theology anymore. Have you ever met those people? They couldn't tell you what the church actually believes. We have, as a nation, have become people that sit here and look at and defend our church and say, yes, I'm a good whatever. But then they'll sit here and say, yeah, but I don't believe in any of that stuff. That's the theology of the church. Reverend Wright, the theology is Marxism. Well, I don't believe any of that stuff. Well, then why are you defending the church? That's the theology. It's, what is it? A label, a meeting place just to hook up with people and have some drinks and have some laughs? Or do you believe in it? America has become the person that is jamming it down everybody's throat, but they don't live it. We need to live it. The other thing is, people are the same kind of, are living it themselves. Conservatives are living it themselves. We say we believe in this. We say we're these people. The GOP has said they're conservatives, but they don't even know what that means anymore. They don't even know what the Constitution says. If